Hello YouTube, how are you? My name is Mike. I'm coming to you from Health and Wealth. I just recently read a tweet where somebody from Europe said that we say how are you too much, and so there I am just blurting that out. How are you? Are you doing okay? Thanks for joining me today. The reason for the video today is I want to go over the performance of YieldMax's ETFs and how they've paid out their dividends and their overall performance over the last 1 year period. So I wanted to start with the original, the OG TSLY, which is an ETF. Its underlying stock is called Tesla. I think you've probably heard of that by now. But TSLY was the grand daddy of all. It was the first one to come out. What was it, like 2 years ago in March, I believe, and it was all the crave. Before that, all of us our high yield dividends were 10% and 12%. Oh my goodness! And then TSLY came out and just blew the doors off and started paying out some major money. So I dove deep into TSLY right away. If you want to go back and take a look at some of my videos, I'll post one right here for you. And at the very end of this video, I'll post it again for you to click on. But I was all in on TSLY. And then the reverse split came and I made a split decision and decided to part ways with TSLY. So I'm not currently invested in TSLY at all. But I thought it would be good for us to spend some time together just to see how it's done in the last 1 year period. My goal on these videos is to review them all within 10 minutes. So if you have 10 minutes for me, we'll make it happen. Let's take a look at a page that I found on YieldMax's website here. It talks about the performance. Now, this is from November of 2022. The thick black line is the S&P Total Return Index, and the faint gray line is going to be your YieldMax Tesla Option Income ETF market value, and then the dotted line is YieldMax Tesla Option Income Strategy ETF, the NAV. So this is a big thing when it comes to these ETFs. A lot of people mention NAV erosion, and with TSLY, it did have a serious implication. And it, the NAV eroded so much that the ETF had to do a reverse split. So where I really want to take a look at is right up in here. This is August 31st of last year, so just about a year ago here. And then you can see that it had a major decline in true value right after that. So that's the period of time that we're looking at. It's 1 year from today. Today is August the 20th. I'm going to post this tomorrow, so it'll be a day after this, but you know what? I might post it tonight. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, I wanted you just to take a look at that chart. You can see that there was a bit of a decline there at the end of August of 1 year ago. I've opened up the 1 year chart here on TSLY. You can also see it has gone down quite a bit. A year ago, it was $28.14. And then right now today, it ended at $14.02. So let's take a look at the Tesla chart itself, 1 year chart here. It doesn't look as rough as TSLY's does, but during that time, it didn't pay out any dividends or anything like that. So a year ago, it was $233. Today, it's at $221, just a loss of 4.4%. So if we take a look at TSLY, it's down 50%. Which is a lot of value there for sure. And so YieldMax on February 26th announced a reverse split. It was a 1-for-2 split. So, I guess it would be a 2-for-1 split. So basically, if you had 500 shares at the end of that split, you would have had 250 shares. So that happened. I also opened up YieldMax's website, and I grabbed a whole bunch of numbers here. I grabbed all of their dividends over the last year, and I've plugged them into an Excel file here that I'd love to share with you, just to kind of go over the math to see how well these funds are doing. So TSLY's fund inception was November 22nd, 2022. But again, we are only looking at the last 365 days, which is 1 year for all of those at home doing math. Now, before I dive too deep into these numbers here, just so you know, I picked the 7th of every month, the value of the stock on the 7th of every month. I know that the ex-dividend date wasn't the 7th of every month, but it was right around that. So I chose that date just for math and fairness. And I'm going to go ahead here and reveal some things here. So 1 year ago, $28.14. If you had have purchased this ETF, let's say you had $10,000, that would have given you 355 shares of TSLY. All right, cool. That's good to know, right? With DRIP, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go like this and reveal all of this good stuff over here. So I did the math manually with the calculator, my fingers, I had my toes out. It was a whole thing over here for the last little bit. So you got your 355 shares, and I've plugged in all of the dividends here. I also plugged in how much money you got with those dividends, and I've also included if you dripped these shares. So what that means that every single time you got money from your dividend, you automatically took all of that money and purchased more shares. That's what we're looking at right here. So your initial is 355 shares. In September, you had a dividend of $1.16. 355 times $1.16 equals $411. The share price was $29.38, so that would have been 13 extra shares for you. I'm not going to go through every single line, but I will tell you here all the way up to February. That's when the ETF did its split. You would have gained yourself an extra 107 shares by doing absolutely nothing, just sitting there and enjoying the snowball effect of DRIP. And you would have had a total distribution in that 6-month period of $6.58, or a total dividend payout of $2,587.11. So that equals 107 extra shares, which is awesome. So with DRIP, you purchased those 107, which is really, really great. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit here. I've kind of split this up a little bit, pun intended, because then we had our split. So at the time of the split, 355 plus 107 divided by 2 equals 231 shares. So long all of your shares. Now you just have 231. You're basically starting over. The price of that ETF, TSLY, went up again because they've now essentially cut their share count in half. And then we started all over in March again here. So let's see here. What's behind this door? There it is. After your split, you now have 231 shares. All right. So we're going to hold off on that number. I'm going to recover that back up. There we go. So I did the same thing. I just took all of the dividends right off YieldMax's website. A total of $4.78, and all the way from March till August today. So if you just got into the fund in March, then you have received $4.78. I also did the drip here. I didn't stop the drip. The drip has continued. And so you can see our total numbers here, how much we got paid with the 231 shares, how many shares you got each month when it came to the drip. And that came to a total of 80 extra shares in this past 6 months here as well. 6 plus 6 equals 12. Now I have a total of 311 shares. I'll make that a little bit bigger for you. If I was invested 1 year ago with $10,000, I would now have 311 shares. Remember, when I started here, I started with 355, so I've almost caught back up even after the dividend, even after the ETF did a split. So that's pretty good, right? I've almost caught back up here. I'm only 49 shares, whatever the math on that is. I'm only 45-ish shares away. Give yourself 3 or 4 months, you might be there. So let's take a look here. I've gone ahead and done some math down below. I'm going to reveal all of this back here as well. Give me a second to do that. There we go. And I've done some math down at the bottom here. We'll come up to that top left column in just a second. So your 1 year total is $11.36 in dividends that you've received. Now, if you were doing DRIP, then you've reinvested that full $11.36 back into the fund. Your total dividend that you received over the last 12 months is $3,832.11. Your initial investment was $10,000. So let's do the left-hand side over here. You can see here 311 times 1405 was today's price when I put this all together. So $4,369. You add your dividends that you got, $3,832, to a total value of $8,201, which means that you are down in your investment if you invested 1 year ago today by $1,799, or a grand total of 17%. Now, for me, when I'm investing, my goal is to make money. Being down 17% is the opposite of the goal. For me, I'm pretty happy that I did get out of TSLY when I did. Tesla is up and down like a lightning bolt. And I was watching another YouTuber, Rob. I think his channel is called Rob Stuff, and he made such a great point. I was doing a little research while doing this math here. He made such a great point that Tesla just burns through those options, right? So the TSLY fund managers will say, hey, you know what? Let's go take a look at it right now, actually. Let's scroll down here. Let's take a look at it. TSLY fund managers, they're going to say things like, we want to do a call on 2/27 by the end of this week. And Tesla, I mean, that's pretty good right now, but Tesla is known for just blowing through their prices, right? So news will come out, Tesla will go up to 250 in one day, right? So with an ETF or with a underlying stock that is so volatile, you're gonna get premiums. But if Tesla blows through those premiums or those strike prices, then the TSLY fund managers will have to pay to close those options. This is what's happened over the last year with Tesla. So people say, hey, wait, Tesla's going to get to $300. So we're going to make our money back on TSLY. But because Tesla goes so quickly with their price action, we as people who are invested in the TSLY ETF won't be able to capture that upside because it was done too quickly. So for me, it's not a buy. I'm not going to be purchasing TSLY. Again, I think that it is, man, I have a hard time saying this, but it's too volatile for me to make any money here. And it's getting close again to that price of reverse split. Now, if it did it again, your 311 shares, let's do the math on that. 311. Whoa. Hey, that's a band. Divided by 2, you'd be down to 155 shares, right? So for me, it's not a buy, but we definitely, if you're watching this video, you're probably invested. You probably have the same feelings I do. I mean, if you're in it already, keep dripping. Look at how many shares it's accumulated in just a few months, right? So what's your strategy with TSLY? What are you doing? Are you taking the dividends and putting them somewhere else? That's what I'm doing with my Nvidia shares. I'm taking the dividends and I'm putting them into Misty. And so I'm building another position there. Tell me what you're doing. Now, before I get out of here, I just want to make sure you guys know I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some guy on YouTube with a hat and glasses. But I have no financial background, and I'm just here for your and my entertainment. And I wanted to leave you with one more thing before we left. I appreciate the 355 of you who have chosen to hit that subscribe button. But can you do me a favor? Take a look down at the like button right now. I heard a rumor if I start talking about the like button, it starts to go all starry. Did it? Did it go starry right now? Or only when you clicked it? Let me know. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click on this video, which will talk about the reverse split of TSLY. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.